Beginning.
There we go. Now you guys can see us. Yes.
Okay,
No.
so now I was like, why are 4 people watching? Here, take your eyes.
My eyes.
Okay, so for those of you that are joining us late,
Hey, we're gonna do this again.
technical difficulties.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini.
Yeah, okay. And
Okay.
For a recap of what happened before you got here, just like replay it when we're done.
So yes, want to say hello again to everybody on Instagram. You can find us on Wednesday night OWCP chats. You can find us on TikTok under Chris Helms Breaking OWCP. And then we have 5 Facebook pages.
Yeah, and if you want to see what Chris looks like when he's totally frustrated with everything in life, just go back to a few seconds before you came on.
Oh my God, there you are. I was watching last week's. And then
last week's was good, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you were watching it.
Yeah, there we go. Here comes all the viewers. All right. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. And then again, we were talking about those of you that don't like social media. You don't have to get on social media. You can just watch it free on YouTube.
Yeah.
On Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini.
Anyways, I'm really glad that more of you are here. I was starting to think you didn't like our new setup.
So I'm going to go back and refresh my screen.
So now that everyone else is here, we got the new setup. We're working on some things. You're going to see some changes as we go each week. We've got the video playing in the back. Many of you just want to know, like, who's Federal Injury Centers? Where are your locations?
Yes.
There's the locations. How do you find an office? That big red, or the red tab at the very top. There's federalinjurycenters.com. That's our website. That's our logo.
Thanks, Ron.
Ron, what's up? And then
setup.
There's all of the social media places you can find Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini. If you can't find us, you're not trying. There's the books, those famous, beautiful black and white books. Give those a look at breakingowcp.com. All right, so that's gonna be playing behind us the whole night.
Yeah, so now you can't ask anymore what everything is, because everything is right up here. This is the website.
Oh, you can ask, but we're just gonna go like that.
Locations right there, that big red button at the top. It says locations. Click it, and you'll see all the locations. And like I said, you don't have to call me. If there is a location closest to you, you can just go ahead and reach out to them. They are going to help you. All the case managers are trained, so they know.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because I want to take this opportunity. I never do this, and I should way more often. But I'm going to give a special thanks to our 2 case managers and trainers,
Yes.
Jennifer Becerra and Emmy. I mean, my goodness gracious. I was on with Emmy today, and we were on for like an hour and a half on calls together, and she is fan-freaking-tastic. And, Jennifer's been with me forever, and it's not that she's not fantastic, because she's like the smartest OWCP brain I know. But I've had a chance today to work with Emmy.
Yeah.
Individually.
I saw her at the corner.
And damn, I was like, do I really need to be here? Because she's just handling things. So the reason I said that is when you go to any of these offices, any of our offices you see on the list up here, they all work directly with Jennifer and Emmy. Okay. Yeah. And that's why things go so successfully. That's why we get all these claims accepted, because we've got this meeting of the minds every single time a new patient comes in. Anyways, Jennifer helped Judy today, and Judy was super happy, and that doesn't surprise me. And Emmy helped me today, thank God, because I was pretty busy. And yes, Emmy Pickett is amazing. That's right.
Yes.
So anyways, I just want to say thank you to Jennifer and Emmy, and all of you will be the recipients of their fantastic knowledge whenever you go to one of our offices.
Okay. So thank you, Emmy and Jennifer. You guys are awesome, and more to come on that. Anyway, so tonight we're not going to talk about a certain topic. I asked you guys about a week and a half ago to list things you guys want us to train you on.
Yeah. And
so we picked out, did you pick out all?
Okay, so there were 55 comments. They weren't all questions, but I had to go through all 55. And of course, I waited to today to do those, because I was doing other things the rest of the week. And I want to say to you that your questions were so good that you made me do some homework.
Yes.
So I've got 2 pages of homework. And the reason that is it's not that I didn't know all the answers. It's just that I didn't know all the answers. And so I had to go out and find the information that it wasn't like readily at the top of my brain. And so you really stretched me a little bit. But the benefit of that to all of you and to me is that now I'm way smarter and you're going to get a way better show tonight. So I'm really excited to go through the 23 questions. Now, there were other questions in the 55 comments. Some of those were duplicates. There were some questions about schedule awards. And Mr. Blowers is going to be on with us next week or the week after.
He's okay. So everybody wanted to know he's going to make his debut again, April 26th.
His 2023 debut on Wednesday night OWCP
Exactly.
Chats will be April 26th.
So he'll be on.
Mark your calendars.
I told him it's going to be maybe 2 hours, but we're not going to hold him up that long. But yeah, he's going to be on and he's going to cover everything with MMI and schedule awards.
So we're not going to steal his thunder tonight.
Do any of that tonight.
No, I know a lot about schedule awards and MMI and disability and all that stuff, but you guys love hearing it from him. So you'll hear from him on the 26th. Tonight, you're going to hear from this guy, and I've got answers on everything else. So we're going to have some fun with it.
So I'm supposed to be reading the questions, but I need to share. So I'm going to pass this over to you.
And while she's sharing, I expect you to be
share.
sharing. So everyone, just take a second, hit the share button. If it takes you away from the page, come back. We're not going anywhere. This time we got it right. We will still be here when you come back, wherever you're watching us from. So share it. We're on the road to 5,000, hashtag road to 5,000. That means we're trying to get 5,000 injury claims approved this year. The best way for us to do that is to have 5,000 people to help. The only way we're going to get 5,000 people to help is if you help us help them. So get out there and let people know that we're here to help, that Federal Injury Centers is in 24 states and 55 offices and counting. And we want to be able to help you get your claim approved. It's really important to us. That does not mean that you've got to get treated at our offices. We want to treat you. We want you to get better and back to work full duty. But the hashtag road to 5,000 is there to get your claims approved. And we're going to make the biggest dent in OWCP that's ever been made in the history of the world. And that's going to be because you're out sharing and letting people know. So do that. Let people know that we're here to help.
Also, somebody said, is there an office in New Hampshire? No. And we do have an office in Dallas. Just go to the locations on our website.
Yeah, I did just talk to a guy from New Hampshire. We'll see what happens. You all know, for every one that says yes, 100 say no. So we'll see what happens. But Joe, our partner Joe, is always, every day searching for new doctors like a pit bull on raw meat. We'll see what happens there.
If we didn't have Joe, we couldn't get these doctors.
We wouldn't have 55 offices without Joe. So everyone give Joe a bunch of hearts.
Yes.
So yeah, tonight I've got these 23 questions. I like to go over them with you. These were your questions, and I'm going to answer them. When I get to the end of the 23, with the time we have left, I'll answer whatever else you got. So along the way, we're going to have our doctors on and some of their staff. They'll be here saying hi. So when you see them, please say hi back. They are here for you. They want to help you when you need the help, and they'll also help you answer some of your questions while I'm reading these here. So yeah, and they also just want to know kind of what you're thinking. So let loose on it and let them know what you're thinking.
Yeah, because they're learning too, and so is their staff. When you guys have certain questions, they're not hearing all the hundreds and hundreds of questions that we get. So there'll be things that they're like, oh, I didn't know that. So they do pay attention to what's going on. So
say hi to the docs, and along the way, we'll do the same thing. So that's it. I'm going to jump right into this thing and answer your question. So I don't have the names of the people that asked, but you'll recognize it if it was you. Question number 1. Now, some of these are pretty easy for me, but you needed the answer. So here it goes. Is it possible to submit a CA1 after seeing the doctor? I use sick days and paid out of my pocket. What do I do? So yeah, you can submit a CA1 or a CA2 after seeing the doctor. The deal is you've got 3 years to report an injury. You can see the doctor first. That's no problem. But if you wait to report your injury, you're going to lose benefits like a CA16, which pays all your medical bills for 60 days, and COP, which gives you the ability to get 45 days of time off. So remember, the soonest possible time to do anything is now. So report your injuries now. But the answer is yes, you can submit a CA1 after you see the doctor. And once your claim's approved, you can get your sick time back with leave buyback, and you can get the money you paid out of your pocket back with an OWCP 915. So great question. Number 2. And I was told, hey, Chris, don't talk so fast. Just because you know all the answers so good doesn't mean everyone's hearing it that fast.
I wonder who told you that.
So I get told that by her. All right, so I'm going to slow down. Number 2. What forms to fill out after an injury? And what if the supervisor doesn't know what to do? Yeah, they don't. And what if the HR person never helps because they never do? All right, so check it out. What forms do you fill out after an injury? So there's this website called eComp, eComp, ecomp.dol.gov, G-O-V. And when you go to ecomp.dol.gov, you create an account. It's simple. It's like a screen and a half of your own personal information, and boom, you've got yourself an ecomp account. It's so easy that when I teach it in live trainings, I'm like, wow, I'm going past this screen so fast, I might end early. It's that simple. So ecomp.dol.gov, and when you're there, you fill out either a CA1 or a CA2, depending on how your injury happened. A CA1 is what you fill out for any injury that happened in a single shift. Like, you stepped out of your vehicle and twisted your knee. That just happened. A dog bite just happened, right? Anything that happened today in a single shift, that's a CA1. A CA2, on the other hand, is any injury or condition that develops over time, over 2 or more shifts. It's 2 or more shifts, or like I like to say, 2 or more days, weeks, months, or years. So what forms do you fill out is either a CA1 or a CA2 on eComp. And if your supervisor doesn't know what to do, that's because they're a supervisor, or as some of our friends on here will say to you, stupid visor. Go to breakingowcp.com to get your supervisor mugs. Yeah, or they're dumb or playing dumb. So assume that they are dumb and they're also playing dumb at the same time, because that's fun. What happens is, as long as you've got their correct email address, they receive an email saying, yo, you got something to do here. And then that means they got to fill out page 2 of the CA1 or page 2 of the CA2. And then they've got 10 days to submit that to OWCP. They have 10 days to finish 1 sheet of paper. Now, for the dumb ones that aren't just playing dumb, that might take a while and they may need some help. And I don't recommend that you be the one to help them. They have supervisors too, but they do have 10 days to submit that to Department of Labor. I think they can do it.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh because you said
Bring this to your mouth.
You said the supervisor said, "Yo, you gotta fill this out." Really?
Yeah. Well, that's true. So what if the supervisor doesn't know what to do? That's what you just make sure you got the right email address. And what if the HR person never helps?
A lot of HR people, I'm going to just say it because we know a few of them, they're a little shady. They can be. And I'm going to leave it right there.
Yeah, I'm going to just fix this. You're killing the audience. Just a little closer. Okay.
Audience, can you hear me?
Now they can for sure. All right. So don't worry about the HR person, because the cool thing is you go online to ecom.dol.gov and you do all the work anyway. So don't worry about it. And yeah, Kevin Andrew, quote, forget what your supervisor thinks. And remember, I wrote forget because I was trying to be nice. All right. So that's what forms to fill out. Number 3, when you have a CA2, which doctor do you see first, your personal doctor or an FIC doctor? That's a loaded question because the FIC doctors are mine. So who do I want you to see first, right? Those ones. But truthfully, there's a lot of that map right there that's empty. And so a lot of you don't have the opportunity to just make it to an FIC doctor. So I'm going to refer you back to last week's 20 things you can do yourself to get a claim accepted. Okay. So be sure you don't forget last week's video. It was long, but it was awesome. 20 things you could do yourself to get a claim accepted. But the question is, do I go to my personal doctor or an FIC doctor? Well, FIC doctor is number 1 because we get claims accepted. Like I was talking to Dr. K in Land O'Lakes, Florida today, and 83% of their claims are already approved. The other 17% are not denied. They're just not.
Awesome.
They just haven't been decided on yet. That means that 83% that the claims are already approved, that represents 100%. Because so far, 100% of the decisions that have been made were approvals. Okay. So do I think you should go to a federal injury center's doctor? Yes. Okay. Because winning doesn't suck. And hashtag road to 5,000.
And we're not saying that we don't get denials.
I'm saying
definitely do.
Well, okay.
But we get them fixed.
We get them. Okay. It happens.
Yes.
We get ridiculous denials sometimes like other doctors do, but we never quit. We never give up ever. We fight to the end. If you don't quit, we don't quit. In fact, I was talking with Dr. Shockey in New York today, and there's a patient there that kind of quit, but we still have all the information. I said, well, they quit, but we're not, because our deal is winning, and we want to get that claim accepted. Even if the patient doesn't care anymore, we still care. So yeah, I want you to go to an FIC doctor, but if you don't have one, you can go to your personal doctor.
But hold on. The reason I said that was because a lot of the times I get the messages and you're getting upset with me because, he'll say about no denials and we don't get denials. And yes, we get denials sometimes. Maybe the doctor missed something or whatever it was that DOL didn't like. So don't get mad at me. Get mad at him. Send him a nasty gram.
Get in line, buddy.
And a shout out to Michael from Ontario, California.
Yeah, what's up? BK Harvey asks, is anybody else experiencing broken audio with the chat? I need to hear. Is anybody else experiencing broken audio with the chat? This is new equipment, so don't hold back.
And, yeah, let us know because we have to know.
Yeah, our feelings won't be hurt. I'll hate it if at the end you didn't hear me. Okay, so just to finish that last thing out, the personal doctor or FIC doctor, you definitely can go to your personal doctor, but you got to go back to last week's chat and look at the 20 things that you can do to get your claim accepted. Because if you can't find a federal injury doctor, you're going to have a really hard time getting your claim accepted. But that's why I did what I did last week, because I want to help all of you that are not in reach of my folks. Okay. So please go back and look at that.
Okay. Kevin said, sounds clear to me. Okay, perfect.
Hey, BK, I don't know what's going on there.
You may want to go out and then come back in.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there. Yeah. Sorry. I'm the worst IT guy in the world. You should see how long it took me to set this up.
Good.
All right, number 4. How can I get all my injuries approved when the second opinion doctor agrees? It's almost 2 years now fighting with DOL. So the deal this person said is even the second opinion doctor agreed, but the claim's not approved. Okay, so here's what you got to do. Your doctor has got to take the second opinion doctor's report, which is in your case file on eComp, and reference it in your doctor's report. And it needs to say, essentially, even your doctor, OWCP, agreed about this claim. What in the world are we even talking about here? So you're going to have your doctor go back and write a better narrative, incorporate the second opinion doctor's narrative. And then what you should do as the claimant is call your claims examiner. They won't answer, so leave a voicemail that they will transcribe and be forced to read and say, hey, claims examiner, my doctor and second opinion doctor both agree. What's the holdup on getting my claim approved? Do that while your doctor is also submitting a new narrative that incorporates the second opinion doctor. That's truthfully a question that I haven't gotten before, and I haven't really thought much about it because usually the second opinion doctor just hoses your case. But this particular one agreed. Like Scott's second opinion doctor, New Jersey, agreed. I can't wait to meet that guy. But that's how I would handle that. Number 5, remember there's 23 of these, so hang in there. What does it take to get an answer to an award letter? Okay, so that is kind of like the last answer. Is if you're not getting responses, you can call your claims examiner and record your voicemail and ask what's up. They're required to respond to all the written things that are submitted to them. And your voicemails are transcribed, therefore are written things submitted to them. Okay, so that's what I'd recommend. I'm assuming, by the way, that meant schedule award as well. Number 6, trying to find an ortho to fill out forms to submit for a schedule award. Okay, that's not a question. That was a comment. To fill out forms for a schedule award, you are not required to find an ortho or any other kind of specialist. You need a doctor who's trained in the 6th edition to permanent impairment by the American Medical Association. When that doctor is trained in the 6th edition, they can do your impairment ratings and submit your reports. They do not need to be orthos. Okay, they do not need to be any specialty of doctor except the kind that's trained in the 6th edition. All right, so hopefully that will help. If you limit yourself just to orthos, you may search to the end of time.
Let me just touch on that. A lot of you do message me and call and ask, if I could recommend an ortho or a psychiatrist, because a lot of you have, some mental health stuff going on. Unfortunately, we don't. So here's your best bet.
And not because we don't want to, it's because we don't have them.
We know the surgeons in Florida, the ones that are here. And the only reason we've known them, either I've known them from the past or Dr. Lee and Dr. K and Dr. Dorfman and Dr. Giuliani and all our Florida doctors, they get connected. They have the responsibility. They have to find the specialist
because they're networking machines.
Right. So they do their stuff on their end. So when I tell you that we don't have orthos and we don't have psychiatrists or whatever, or a specialist, we don't. Like, I can't sit there and go through the phone book with every single person. I mean, I get over 80 calls a day just by myself.
Can
and
you
that's
imagine
not
getting 80 phone calls a day? I get like 20 junk calls from like, what are those spam numbers?
scam likely.
Yeah, scam likely. I get like 20 of those and I want to throw my phone. She gets 80 real calls. So
Yeah. And then on
yeah.
top of that, I have, you know, all the social media platforms that people send me messages on. So I can't, you know, go look for orthos and specialists for you. And I'm sorry about that. But what you can do is, if you're in a certain state that we have locations for, call that doctor's office and they will be able to help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to throw that in there.
Yep. Okay. Are you still sharing?
Yes. I'm
all right. I hope you're all sharing. All right.
You're making me do the work.
Number 7. What limits do DOL doctors have in treatment and the length of time a person can be on work comp with osteoarthritis without taking your job away? So let's break that apart a little bit. What limits do DOL doctors have in treatment? Okay, so their only limitation in treatment is what's medically necessary. Our doctors are trained to do everything that is medically indicated for your approved diagnosis.
Yes.
So if it's medically indicated, they do it. They continue treating as long as you continue to make progress towards the ultimate goal of return to work full duty. If at any time you hit a plateau and you're no longer progressing and there's nothing else left, that's called MMI, maximum medical improvement. So the doctors are allowed to treat you all the way to MMI as long as the treatment continues to show progress and you keep getting better. But anybody that's just treating you to just make money, that's a problem for you because you're not getting better. Okay. So the limit the DOL doctors have in treatment is medical necessity. All right. And progress towards the ultimate goal of full duty return to work. The next part of this was the length of time a person can be on work comp without taking your job away. So now you're talking about the answer to that depends on your craft. Okay. Like a rural carrier has 2 years, but a city carrier has 1 year. Okay. As an example. And in those cases, you need to be working closely with your unions. And last week, one of my 20 things, I don't remember which number, is, work with your unions, know who your union reps are. And some of you came back with some pretty negative things, some of you some pretty nasty things about your unions. I maintain that those are the exceptions to the rule. Find someone else in your union and they'll help you, okay? Because plenty of people in your union want to help. Believe me, I know lots of them. But when it comes to the time away from work, you need to know that it depends on your craft, and your union can help you with that for sure.
I'm back.
All right, welcome back. Okay, number 8. Now, some of these are not questions. She didn't read these in advance.
Yeah, I have no clue.
So just read it as it says. I'll know what to say.
Okay, number 8. Remember, these are questions that I had asked a week and a half ago. Comment on things you wanted us to train you on. And, we were just trying to figure out a topic. And Chris goes, let's just answer all the questions they asked. So here we are.
I can't believe how fun this is, too.
Yeah.
When I was going through it, I was like, holy crap, these people have good questions. And again, you made me work. Thanks a lot. I didn't have any work to do today. Ask Emmy.
Okay, so here's a question. And these are from you guys. What happens when the second opinion doctor and treating doctor disagree with limited duty restrictions? Do I follow my doctor or the second opinion restrictions?
Now, I love this one, but this one made me do a little research. And so some of these, I have stuff that I'm just going to read to you. They're my own words, but I'm going to read them to you. These are that important that I researched them. So here's the deal. What if the second opinion doctor disagrees with the treating doctor? And this isn't anything, okay? Whatever the second opinion doctor is there to review, if it disagrees with your treating physician, this is the answer. When the treating physician and the second opinion physician disagree about work restrictions, OWCP will typically decide based on the medical evidence presented. In other words, whose documentation is better? Whose narrative is better? The second opinion doc or your doctor? In general, OWCP will consider the opinions of both doctors along with other medical evidence in deciding about whether the employee is able to return to work. And if so, what work restrictions are necessary. So there's another paragraph I'm about to read, but the first part of that says if the two doctors disagree, they're going to take the best information that one of the doctors gives. So make sure your doctor's doing good stuff there. OWCP may also request additional medical information or examination. So after a second opinion, for whatever reason, they may say, okay, We're not sure because we've seen your doctor, we've seen the second opinion doctor. We need more info. Anytime they tell you that they want more information, you got to go. These are mandatory visits, so don't ever skip them. If OWCP determines that the employee is unable to return to work, the employee may be eligible for disability benefits. In other words, you can't work, so you might be able to get paid to be out of work. Okay, so see also the CA7 and LWOP. If OWCP determines that the employee is able to return to work with restrictions, the employee's agency may be required to make reasonable accommodations to allow the employee to return to work. See also 2 weeks ago when I talked about limited duty assignments. So the answer to the question is, if my second opinion doctor disagrees with my treating doctor, what happens? Well, what they do is they take the weight of the medical information provided to them by each doctor and they decide. And if they don't like what they see, they ask for more information, then they decide. That's the answer. It sounds to me actually pretty vague, but that's how it's done.
Number 9, can you get ongoing chiropractic care?
I love that somebody asked about chiropractic care because so many of you believe you can't see a chiropractor. I hear it all the time. There was that thing's got to be closer. She's not in front of the microphone all day like I am.
Do you want me to do it like this?
Oh my God. The responses we're going to get because of that.
Wait, why?
I'm moving on.
Oh, okay.
But you ask about a chiropractor, and too many of you believe you can't see a chiropractor. Well, the Code of Federal Regulations is why you're confused. And the other reason you're confused is because your supervisors and some of your union reps are confused about the code. So the CFR, as it relates to chiropractors, says that chiropractors can treat a subluxation. So in other words, if you got something out of place, they can fix it. As long as there's an x-ray, they can review their own x-ray reports and they can treat your subluxation because that's what chiropractors do. But letter D of that same code says they can also do services in the nature of physical therapy as long as it's prescribed and supervised by a medical doctor. Okay, you just described every federal injury center's office short of a couple that use physical therapists exclusively. So you can see a chiropractor for as long as it takes. Remember, you can have all the treatment that's medically necessary that continues to get you better where you're showing progress. So that's the answer. How much chiropractic care can you get? As much as medically necessary is the answer.
Yeah. And whenever you call some of the offices, you'll probably get the girls saying, Helms Chiropractic, and they forget to say Federal Injury Centers of Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, don't freak out. You're in the right place.
Don't freak out, because what happens is I get the nasty gram text and said, oh, you guys said this office is a federal work comp clinic, and
it
is, but because they didn't say Federal Injury Centers of whatever, you guys get upset and hang up.
Yeah, so don't get upset and hang up, because gosh, all you're going to do is go to the next doctor on the internet that's on like page 3, and that's the wrong one, so be careful.
Yeah.
Number 10,
what happens if you need to take disability retirement?
All right, so disability retirement is like the last chapter in like my last book, because I hate this topic so much, because it means that nothing worked and you had to leave your job. And I don't like that. But disability retirement means that for whatever reason, you can no longer perform the physical duties of your job. It doesn't mean you're disabled, like you need to be on Social Security, although you do have to apply. You just don't have to get it. It means you just can't do that job anymore. So in one of these books over here, I think the third one, I don't even know anymore. I told a fictional story about a guy who was fishing and a shark bit his arm off, and he was on vacation, but he was a letter carrier, I think. And so his arm is gone. He really couldn't do that job anymore, right? And so that person was eligible for disability. That wasn't a work-related injury. It was a shark accident on a boat on vacation, right? That's an extreme thing. And if you were bitten by a shark, I apologize for the trauma I just caused you.
Oh my gosh.
But the point is, anything that causes you not to be able to do that job while you're a federal employee can be a reason for disability. And if you are approved for federal disability, you get 60% of your income in the first year. Does that sound good? No. It gets worse, because by the second year, you get 40% of your income.
Yes.
So now you're making 40%, and nobody I know can live off of that, me included. So the bright side for you is that you can also get a non-federal job at the same time and collect up to 80%. So by year 2, you can be making 120% of your previous income if you are approved for federal disability. And I'm going to tell you that for more information on federal disability, I'm going to direct you to Eric Blowers, because that's one of his specialties. But I did just give you good information, and it's in one of my books too, if you want to look at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 11.
Number 11. This was a good question. How does your time on OWCP affect your retirement?
You want to know something? This is the question that trips me up the most.
Why?
And because to me it was complicated.
Oh, okay.
And nobody likes being stumped less than I do. We're not going to play Stump the Chump tonight. I got the answer.
Stump the Chump?
Yeah, we're not playing that game. So here's the answer. When it comes to retirement, time spent on OWCP can affect a federal employee's retirement benefits in a few ways. First, time spent on OWCP counts. It does count towards the employee's length of service for retirement purposes. So that's good news. If you're on OWCP, it still counts for the length of time, length of service for retirement. This means that time spent on OWCP will be included in the calculation of the employee's total years of service, which can affect the amount of your pension or annuity. Second, if the federal employee is on OWCP for an extended period of time, they may not be able to contribute to their thrift savings plan, their TSP, during that time. This can affect the amount of retirement savings they are able to accumulate in their TSP. So pay attention to that. So while your time does count towards retirement, you're not necessarily contributing to your TSP anymore. And finally, if a federal employee is receiving OWCP benefits at the time of their retirement, the amount of their OWCP benefit may be reduced once they begin receiving their pension or annuity. What they're going to do is not allow you to make more money than you should have been making in just a standard retirement. So they may reduce your retirement money as an offset. But in short, the time still counts. Your TSP may not grow. And when you retire, they're going to offset it. So you're not making more money than you were before you retired.
Miss Butterfly, you asked, who is Eric? Eric is the federal attorney that we send everything to. He's a federal attorney. His name is Eric Blowers. And if you need anything to do with schedule award, third-party accident, even your LLV accident or car accident, if you're a federal employee, or disability retirement, just message me and I'll get you over to him.
But just a small correction. We don't send anybody to Eric. This is, I think she's new.
Yeah.
Miss Butterfly. Yeah. I love that name.
I know. It's so cute.
Is new here. We're not a referral service. We have these franchise locations for doctors, and we're not a referral service even for them. You can go anywhere you want to go. Eric Blowers is a friend of ours. He's a fantastic federal lawyer, and we love him. We recommend him above everyone else. But you can search OWCP lawyer on Google and find someone else if you want to.
Yeah.
I know a lot of them. I like almost every one of them I know, but Eric, in my opinion, is the best. That's why we recommend him, but we don't refer anybody.
Yeah, anybody on here that has used him will tell you all about him.
Yeah, he's badass.
Okay, number 12. How long can I hold out before having surgery, and how would that affect a schedule award?
All right. So in healthcare, you have the right to say no to any treatment. You are not required to accept something just because a doctor says so.
Correct.
So you can hold out to the end of time. But what's the rest of the question?
How long can I hold, and how would that affect my schedule award?
So the way it affects a schedule award is, let's say that your doctor said you're as good as you're going to get unless you get surgery, and then surgery could make you better. And you say, yeah, but I don't want surgery. I'm scared of surgery. I don't believe in surgery, whatever the issue is. Then your doctor says, okay, well, then you're now at MMI because the only thing that could help you, you just refused. And so that just puts you at MMI. It doesn't mean that later on you can't decide to have surgery, but you ask the question and that's the answer. You can hold out forever. And if you decide not to do it, then the doctor can place you at MMI right there, which would make you eligible for your schedule award at that moment.
Because a lot of you are asking the questions on here. Okay. We purposely bought this so we can flash it to you guys. So there is all the social media information where we are at, because somebody just asked, where can they get the books? Here is all the books. Here is the website, www.breakingowcp. These are all 3. You can also get that in PDF.
There's definitely 3 W's there.
This is just a map of the United States, and all the red pins are all of our locations. And this is the website we tell you to go find everything that you need.
Yeah, if you want to find a location, that red tab at the very top is how you do it. And that's our logo.
Yeah. All right.
13.
Number 13.
This is another one that you would have tripped me up on had you asked it without me looking it up. Hit me.
How to get them to allow a doctor to change IDC codes that they forget to update in all the doctor changes I've had.
So this person was saying, how do I get the doctor to update my IDC codes? Right. And I've had all these doctors. How do I make changes? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I've got an answer. First of all, IDC stands for Industry Data Codes, which are used by the Office of Workers' Comp, OWCP, to classify the industries in which injured workers were employed at the time of their injuries. In other words, in the Postal Service, in the VA hospital, in the TSA, right? Those are different industries. These codes are used to collect and analyze data on work-related injuries and illnesses. So that's what an IDC code is. In the context of OWCP, IDC codes are used to determine the appropriate rate of compensation for injured workers. The compensation rate is based on the injured worker's average weekly wage at the time of the injury, which is determined by the worker's IDC code and the corresponding wage rate for that industry. And the doctor has nothing to do with that whatsoever. And that's what I was really excited to be able to answer this question, because the person that asked that is probably or maybe struggling getting paid properly and going to the doctor saying, what the heck? Well, what you need to do is go to your supervisor and say, what the heck? Take a look at the second page of your CA7 when you're turning in for LWOP and see what they put there, and make sure they're using the proper IDC codes there. But you can go to your supervisor, or if you really want effective help, go to your union rep, because they're smarter than your supervisor.
When Chris came to me reading this question that he was really excited to read, I thought he was talking medical. I'm like, why are they asking for ICD-9 codes?
But it's not ICD-9.
Yeah.
It's IDC, industry data codes,
right,
that say how
completely
you're supposed to
different.
get paid based on your industry.
I'm going to ask this question real quick from Beverly Coleman.
Yeah.
She says, I'm confused. If you are on OWCP and choose to retire, do you exit off the OWCP payroll and simply draw your retirement annuity?
Yes. So here's the deal. You have lifetime medical when you're on OWCP. When your claim is approved, you can get medical attention for the rest of your life, as long as it's for something related to the original accepted condition. But when you're no longer working for the federal agency, there's no expectation that OWCP is going to pay you as if you were off work working for the federal agency. Instead, you're getting retirement pay, because that's how you should get paid. But you still get medical attention for the rest of your life as needed.
And then what if you're working and just take some LWOP days off for doctor's appointments? How does that affect or not retirement benefits?
Well, all of your time off on OWCP, LWOP included, will count towards your days. But maybe not necessarily, as this thing says, not towards your TSP.
And then the last one I'll read from here is Miss Butterfly.
I love that name so much.
It's not butterfly.
I don't care.
Butterfly.
Yeah, I like that even better.
It's black butterfly. That's cute.
This just gets better.
How long do you have to be a federal employee to apply for federal disability retirement?
Okay, so as long as you are employed by a federal agency at the time of disability, you qualify. There's no length of time. This is something I have read a lot about. There's no length of time. If you're a federal employee today, and today that shark eats your arm off, you are today you qualify for federal disability today.
You are freaking people out there not going to want to go to the beach.
No, let me tell you something. Look, I don't want to go too far off of this, but I've caught a lot. We live in Florida, okay, off the Tampa Bay coast, and I've caught a lot of sharks, sand sharks, black tip sharks. That's actually the only kinds of sharks I've caught. But these sharks swim in about 8 feet of water, and the time that I was catching a bunch of sand sharks and a black tip that was longer than my wingspan, I looked over and we were about 200 yards away where I was swimming last week.
Yeah.
That was the last time I went swimming there.
He got really freaked out.
I wasn't that freaked out. I didn't die by the shark, but I'm not going to either, because I caught sharks where I was swimming.
Junior, if you have a question, you can just go ahead and ask it on here. But if it's a personal question you don't want everybody to hear, you can just go ahead and message us after the live is over on Messenger.
And no, I'm not joking. That is the coolest name of anybody here.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, actually, for the rest of you not having cool names.
We did have, what's her name? Sasshole.
Okay, I like that one. I follow her on TikTok.
That's
a good one too.
Yes, Sasshole.
That is a good one too. I follow her on TikTok. She's funny.
Number 14. Can you do reconsideration on a claim after retirement?
Yeah, sure. As long as you file your claim before you retire, then all the rules apply to you. But you just can't report an injury after retirement. I mean, you can do it, but it will not get approved. Okay. So as long as you report your injury prior to retirement, you can do reconsideration after you retire.
Miss Hayes says, "Hello, all. I always miss the live. Glad to catch you both.
Glad to have you.
Working with Dr. K on my case. I've been out for 2 years and 3 denials. Well, Dr. K is the man.
Yeah. So far, he's at 100% acceptance. So hang in there.
Yeah. And then this person is yelling. Let's see.
Yelling?
No, like the way they're responding.
Like, I'm used to getting yelled at, so that's fine.
Any of the schedule award questions, we're going to have federal attorney Eric Blowers on April 26th.
Well, ask it. No, go ahead. Ask it. It's
and
fine.
Just to let you know. So
okay.
We're not going to get too deep into them. But Junior said, what's the best way to get a schedule award for a rotator cuff surgery?
Okay. So good news is your body part, the shoulder, qualifies. From there, you have to have an accepted claim. Once your claim's accepted, you've got to reach maximum medical improvement, as I mentioned earlier. Once you're at MMI, your doctor's got to do a 6th edition impairment rating. That will generate an impairment rating report that will attach to your CA7, where you will elect D, schedule award, and turn them in together. But Eric will go into way more detail next week.
Number 15.
15, another one I had to do some work on. Thank you.
How do you handle long-term disabilities and options with OWCP?
So this one was fun. It actually caused me to get you 2 different answers that I think all work together. So if an employee is unable to work due to a work-related injury or illness, they may be eligible for long-term disability. To qualify, the employee must have a medical condition that's expected to last at least 1 year. That's for a long-term disability. And that prevents them performing the duties of their job. The employee must also have exhausted all available sick leave and other forms of leave. You can get that back. Remember, you can get your leave back with a CA7 leave buyback. Once an employee applies for a long-term disability, OWCP will review the medical records and other supporting documents to determine if the employee meets the eligibility requirements. If approved, the employee will receive a portion of their pre-disability pay tax-free IRS on a regular basis until they're able to return to work or until they reach retirement age. So in other words, if you go on a long-term disability, you get paid a portion of your salary, which is a 67% roughly and 75% depending on your dependents, until you're out of that status. Once an employee applies for long-term disability, OWCP, I just said all of that. All right. It's worth noting that OWCP may require periodic medical exams to determine if you're still eligible for long-term disability. Okay. So that's just how it goes. You'll go to your doctor every once in a while. And until your condition improves, you will continue to get paid.
Okay. So Junior, I'm going to go back. Junior said
I got more.
He did all that.
Okay. So if you did all that, you got to go and if you have your 6th edition, you turn it in and now you're just waiting on the claims examiner. Give them a call, leave a voicemail, and say what's the status of my schedule award.
He said they want a second opinion.
They often require a second opinion, and when they do that, you are required to go, and then they will consider the weighted medical or the weighted value of the medical evidence from the second opinion in your doctor. But there's a part 2 to my answer.
Oh, okay.
And it's on temporary roles. And I did this because about a year ago, somebody stumped me on temporary roles.
Oh, that's right.
And I swore that would never happen again. So this is for you, mystery woman who stumped me on temporary roles. Temporary roles in OWCP refer to a status that an injured or ill employee may be placed on during the course of their work comp claim. When that employee is placed on temporary roles, it means that they are unable to work due to their condition and are receiving compensation benefits from OWCP that you don't have to turn in CA7s for. They just pay you. And there are 3 categories. They are total disability, which is anybody that just can't work at all for now. Partial disability, that's for anybody that can go to work for limited duty, and that you get paid the difference between your pre-injury or pre-illness wages and your current earning capacity. The difference, so that you're kind of made whole, so to speak. Or light duty, for employees who are able to work, but only in a job that accommodates their injury or illness. See also the limited duty thing that we talked about 2 weeks ago. These employees may also be entitled to receive temporary light duty benefits, which provide compensation for the difference in the pre-injury or illness wages and the wages you're earning in light duty job. If it's a different job with different pay, they'll make sure you get paid the difference. So that's pretty cool. And once your condition improves, you leave that status. So that's the most thorough answer I gave in all of these, because I wasn't ever going to get stumped on that one again.
Okay, this is an interesting question. This is from Rhea.
Hit me.
My supervisor keeps putting me in as AWOL instead of OWCP LWOP every now and then.
Yeah.
And says, oh, well, file a grievance.
So file a grievance and then file another one and then file another one and then file another one. And then maybe contact EEO and see if you're being treated fairly. And ask your union if there are any labor board charges that would stand as precedent on this one. I don't call the National Guard. Do whatever it takes. This is getting ridiculous. Now, be sure that you're filling out your 3971 forms. Okay. To let them know that you're going to be off of work. Call the 800 number when you're going to be off of work and say, I'm going to be out for a while and here's why. And then be sure you've got a CA-17 on file from your doctor and that it stays current. Anytime it changes, you need an update. And then get your union to get to work on this deal. I don't care how many grievances they have to pay. Here's the problem. They're doing this to your coworkers too, not just you. They're doing it to everybody. And the only way to stop it is to stop it. Okay, so use all the tools that you have available to you, and your union is powerful in this.
Yeah. Kevin, you said you had no idea there was a FIC in Missouri.
Yes, yeah, the Kansas City office is new. Now, look, if you're in St. Louis, that's a hike. But yeah, that's one of our newer locations, Dr. Pearson, and they're really great. They're excited, and they are they're doing everything they can to get your attention. So I'm glad you know.
Ms. Hayes said, is that something I can do, apply for disability, or is that only for accepted cases?
No, look, disability doesn't necessarily have to do with OWCP. Remember the shark attack, right? Correct. That was on vacation. It's just that you became disabled while you were a federal employee. It could be terrible things, like you could be, I'm going to keep using letter carrier. You could be a letter carrier, but you develop a lung disorder and now you can't breathe. You're disabled. That doesn't have to be work related. You could develop like some severe, God forbid, form of cancer. Now that's not work related, hopefully. So it doesn't have to be OWCP related. You could be, rock climbing and fall off the mountain, and that's vacation. You're now disabled. It wasn't work related. You're qualified because you were a federal employee, not because it was work related. That doesn't matter. You just have to be a federal employee.
Read this one here because I didn't know what that was. So read that. That's it.
The case was approved, but surgery was not originally. That happens. Second opinion doctor approved surgery, but my agency says IBB is while waiting for case to be approved. What advice do you have for me? I don't know what IBB means, so if you will let us know what that means, I'll answer your question as good as I can.
And that was Kisty?
Yeah, so just tell us what IBB means.
Okay. Let's get to the next question.
What number are we at?
We're on number 16. Can you get disciplined for taking a CA-17 to the doctor without side A filled out first? I read that slowly because this is a big question.
So I like this one.
Yes, he does.
I like it a lot because I teach my doctors that if somebody, a patient, brings in a CA-17 to them and the supervisor refused, or no, they show up without one, and it's because the supervisor refused to issue the CA-17. I tell the doctors to take a big, beautiful black Sharpie, turn that form on its side, and on side A, write supervisor refused to issue. And then fill out side B the best as possible and submit that. And the reason we do that is that somebody, that was leave buyback, not IBB. Okay, I'll get back to your leave buyback question. The reason we do that is not to get your supervisors in trouble, but if that happens, that's a bonus. We do it because when we send it in without side A, a claims examiner or somebody is going to ask the doctor, what the heck are you doing? Why didn't this originate with the supervisor like it's supposed to? And it's because the supervisor refused. So that's my answer. That's what we tell everyone. But let me tell you what the internet says. I love this. Okay. I'm so glad I looked this up because it says what I say. If a supervisor refuses to issue Form CA-17 to an injured worker, it could be a violation of the injured worker's rights. You think? If an injured worker is having difficulty obtaining Form CA-17 from their supervisor, they should contact their OWCP claims examiner, which I say all the time. So call your claims examiner and tell them, remember to leave a voicemail. that has to be transcribed, or contact the OWCP district office. They may also consider filing a complaint with the Department of Labor Office of Inspector General. So when your supervisor refuses to offer Form CA-17, it may be a violation of your rights. And they're saying call your OIG. I also add call OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA, and ask them if your supervisor failing to provide you a CA-17 so your doctor can keep you safe is a safety violation. That's the most thorough answer I've ever given on that, and I was so grateful that that question was asked.
All right, let's see. Oh, you want to hit up her?
Yeah. So re-ask that question to me.
Okay. Case was approved, but surgery was not originally. Second opinion doc approved surgery, but my agency says leave buyback is while waiting for the case to be approved. What advice do you have for me?
Okay, so remember your stupid advisors are dumb or they're playing dumb. Sometimes both. Leave buyback is for any injury that is eventually accepted. And at any time when you're out on LWOP for a valid reason because you were injured, medically indicated to be out of work, you use your own time, you can do leave buyback. There's no stipulations to that. Whatever your supervisor is saying, yeah, but if it was this, that's crap. Okay. If your claim ever gets accepted, you have the opportunity to get leave buyback for any time away due to your work injury that you used your own personal leave that was medically advised by your doctor. That was a long answer, but I want to make sure you understand that your supervisors are idiots. What else?
Black Butterfly says, during this time that I have been off, the doctors have only given me steroid injections. I have come to learn that I have an allergic reaction to the shots. I don't want surgery. Does that qualify for MMI?
Okay, so you're new here. I should have said, and my partner Joe loves it when I say this. I'm not a doctor. Okay. But to qualify for MMI, you have to have exhausted all available treatments to you. You've hit a plateau. You're not getting better anymore. And if surgery is an option, you don't want it. And the doctor says, without surgery, you're at MMI right now, then you qualify for MMI.
And then back to Kisty, she said the claim was accepted, but the surgery was not.
So surgeries, this happens all the time. In fact, when I was working with Emmy today, a case came up where someone was not getting surgery. And my first question was, what's the diagnosis? And the answer was strain sprain. And I said, well, that's why the surgery is not approved. What's the actual diagnosis? And I forget what it was, but it was surgical. So what we needed to do was a diagnosis expansion. You may have a very simple diagnosis approved of sprain, right? Sprains are not surgical. And even though you have an MRI that shows you've got some surgical condition, your approved condition is not surgical. So you've got to get your doctor to do what's called a diagnosis expansion, which is writing a narrative explaining why this other diagnosis should be added to the claim that includes a sprain. And so now, if that's successful, and ours are successful like every time, if that's successful, now your accepted conditions on eComp will show sprain and whatever the new diagnosis is. It won't remove the sprain, it'll just add another one. Once the other one is added, then you can apply whatever for pre-authorization of the surgery. It'll probably be approved. So just because your claim's approved doesn't mean it's approved with the surgical diagnosis. That surgical diagnosis is definitely valid. It just hasn't been added to the claim yet.
All right, number 17.
Out of 23, so we're getting to the end, and we'll still go to your questions too.
How to get OWCP to open up medical when I never received any letters stating the case was denied?
So I love this question too, because I always answer, and I'm being honest with you. This was one I just answered because my gut feeling said this is right, and it was. So what I always say is to get a claim reopened, your doctor needs to write a letter of medical necessity explaining why it needs to be reopened. Let me tell you what the internet told me. If your OWCP claim for medical benefits has been closed, you may be able to reopen it by submitting a written request to OWCP. If your request, you should explain why you believe the claim should be reopened and provide any additional medical evidence or documentation you have to support your request. That's a letter of medical necessity. You write a letter saying what you want, but they're not going to do it unless your doctor writes a letter. So that's why I said it. So to get a claim reopened, you need your doctor to write a letter explaining why medically it should be reopened, and then e-comp that. That's what I've been teaching forever. Hallelujah. It was right.
Laura Tyson said, I've just been seen by a DOL ordered second opinion. He told me that I'm going to be not going to be able to return to my job. My surgeon told me that he's planning on releasing me on my next visit, May 3rd. I'm so confused. What if I disagree?
Find another doctor. I know, easier said than done, right? If in most parts of the country, half the country, you can't do that. Okay. But it is your right to do so. So you can always get a second opinion on your own. You don't have to wait for OWCP to give you, require it. You can get a referral to another doctor. You can ask your current doctor to write a letter to OWCP asking to be removed from your claim, because clearly they don't want to help anymore. So ask them to get the heck off the claim and go find another doctor. Right. So you write a letter requesting a change. Your doctor writes a letter requesting to be removed, or your doctor writes a referral to somebody else.
Ron said, heck no, you can't get in trouble. Love the black Sharpie. I tell everyone to do it as well, which I got from you. Preach,
I know you do.
Chris.
I know you do, and yes, I will.
And then Miss Harvey said, retired due to injury. Filed OWCP at the time, retired several CAT scans, x-rays, MRIs, and I finally a bone scan. 4 hot spots showed. Immediately sent to neurosurgeon. Surgery only thing, but not good candidate. Back due to fall on face and hip, shoulder, knee. How long after retirement can a reconsideration be filed?
There's no limitation to that. There's nothing that says you can't do a reconsideration at any time, except for this. It's a 12-month from every denial thing. So if you wait longer than 12 months, you can never do it. But you can do infinite number of reconsiderations as long as you never miss the 12-month deadline.
Right. Number 18. It's 18. How to get a knee replacement for a long-term knee injury that's not getting better, and the doctor said the replacement is the best option.
So I hate this, but it is a fact. I mean, doctors are doing replacements of knees, hips, shoulders. It's happening all the time now. And to get a replacement, you've got to have a diagnosis that indicates you need it replaced. Again, remember the strain sprain thing. If your diagnosis is approved as a sprain, you are never going to get any surgery whatsoever. Nobody is ever even going to think about a scalpel and you in the same sentence. So you've got to have a diagnosis that indicates you need that surgery. Once you have that diagnosis, your doctor has to write a letter of medical necessity and send it to the claims examiner explaining why that is the only course of action that makes any sense anymore. And then from there, the claims examiner makes a determination. But that's how that gets done.
Number 19. This is a good one.
Oh, I love this.
Is this why you circled it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I said, this is a good one.
Yeah.
What happens when after being off and on light duty and the route turns into a phantom route?
And some of you want to know that aren't letter carriers. What's a phantom route? I'm so glad you asked.
Oh my gosh.
A phantom route typically refers to a mail delivery route that's no longer needed or has been eliminated to a change in mail volume or other factors. If a route turns into a phantom route, the Postal Service may either reassign the carrier to another route or may offer the carrier a different position within the Postal Service, depending on the carrier's seniority, qualifications, and other factors. If the route was eliminated due to a work-related injury or illness, the carrier may also be eligible for workers' compensation benefits through OWCP, meaning if a route is eliminated, you may be able to get paid OWCP pay, right? So workers' comp pay, that's what they're saying, at 66 and a whatever, 67% or 75%, right? So that's how that works depending on your number of dependents. So if your route is removed because of your injury, that's what happens. But I want to say to you that this is also a place where I would have my union reps fight like hell for me to not lose my route. But if it happens, you should be paid the difference in whatever pay you were getting before and what pay you get now because they removed that route. I was so happy to get that question because, first of all, phantom route is a cool name. But what it means is not cool at all. If it's happened to you, that's not cool. But the thing is you have options. And one of those options is to take another job inside the Postal Service. And if that job has a pay differential that's less than yours, you should be paid for the difference.
All right. Nestor Torres said, I've been out for a whole year tomorrow, but in July, I will be out of the post office for 2 years. So I'm still a CCA until July. I will be a PFT. Is this true? OWCP can only cover for 1 year of my injuries paid. After, they won't continue paying. I'm going to my second surgery this Friday. Surgery is approved.
Yeah, after, depending on your craft, after a year or 2 years, they're going to try to remove you from that position. It doesn't mean they're firing you from the agency, but they're going to, take your route away or whatever. And there's nothing anybody can do about that except for your union. That's who can help you. And the union reps I've talked to said, I wish more of my people would come to me and let me help them with this.
Don't be scared, guys.
No, and
especially with your reps.
And here's another thing. Excuses don't get this done. And one of the excuses is, well, my union reps don't care, or they suck, or they don't want to help. Well, that's an excuse. What I would do instead is find someone else. Okay. You don't sit at the red light and hope it turns green one day, and 3 days later you're sure wishing you can go to the bathroom because you sit at the red light and you're hungry. Run the damn light. Okay. So if you're somebody who believes your union reps don't want to help, I believe someone is there that does want to help, and I think you need to go up the ladder and find someone. That's my answer. I know it's nobody's favorite, or some people don't like it, but I just think that that's what it is. You're in a situation where you have an opportunity to get backing from the union, and maybe you've got a union rep that's not interested, but you definitely have one that is. You just got to find them.
All right. What we got here?
Don't be mad at me for that. I just believe it's the truth. Or be mad. That's fine too.
Number 20. I'm retired and still on OWCP. Can I move to another state? And will I need a new doctor at the time? And will that be hard since most doctors don't understand OWCP?
You live in the United States of America. You can move to any state you want, anytime, for any reason, or no reason at all. And your agency and OWCP cannot and will not try to stop it. The question is, when you get there, what are you going to do about it? Well, you'll clearly need another doctor. So you'll have to do a change of treating doctor request. They will approve it because now you're in a different state. They're not going to require you to go back to the other state if you just moved to, Alaska. So write a change of treating doctor letter after you find your doctor. Your reason is, I left the state and I need a new doctor. And the new doctor is Dr. Blank at this address. And they'll approve that.
All right. Number 21. How does COP and CA7s work?
Love this question too. Okay, so COP stands for continuation of pay. Continuation of pay makes you eligible for 45 or up to 45 days of time off if you have a CA1 injury that happened in a single shift that you reported within 30 days. If you report your CA1 injury on day 31, you are no longer eligible for continuation of pay. So, as I said, never delay. The soonest possible time to do anything is now. So if you have an injury, report it today, because, hey, it's the internet and we all have phones in our hands at all times. So ecomp.dol.gov, make an account. It's simple, and report your injury. And that stops the clock, and now it makes you eligible. And just by the way, if you report right away, you also become eligible for the CA16 that pays all your bills for 60 days. So you can have 6 weeks of time off and 2 months of bills paid. That's incredible. And that's before your claim's even accepted. And you never have to pay back that CA16. So the CA7, though, is how you get paid after your claim is accepted. So when you have continuation of pay, it's good for up to 45 days. It's up to that, because also if your claim's accepted before that, you're done with COP, you switch to LWOP. And that's how a CA7 works. So once your claim is accepted, you can get paid on LWOP using your CA7 forms. I recommend starting to fill them out prior to your claim getting accepted after COP is exhausted. Don't wait till later to fill them out, because it gets overwhelming. But that's how you get paid for your time off when your claim is accepted and COP is run out.
Chad, yeah, you still have to do a change of treating request if your doctor has closed his practice. They just need to know that.
Yeah, you do that and it'll be an automatic yes, because they're not going to require you to go to a practice that's closed.
All right. Number 22. How to get reimbursed with OWCP 957 up to 100 miles round trip. This is a question we get every week.
Yeah. So you are, with an accepted claim, eligible to be paid or reimbursed for your mileage up to 100 miles round trip. That means 50 miles both directions. If you go 101 miles, they will very likely not pay you for the first 100, which makes no sense.
Right.
So when you're going to have a trip outside of the 100 miles, you need to contact your claims examiner and let them know what's up and ask them, will they approve you to get paid for any of it, but at least the first 100? Okay. So you need to get authorization in advance. How you do that is you fill out the form OWCP 957. You document where you came from and where you went. And then what I recommend is get documentation from the doctor that you were driving to, proving you were there, and attach it to your 957 form.
Last question from the post when I asked
Number
for
23.
questions.
And by the way, Ron, that's 23 as in Michael Jordan. Okay, I'm just saying. Not LeBron.
Heck.
Not LeBron. What?
Number 23. How is a reoccurrence handled in OWCP CA2A?
Okay, so another great question. A recurrence.
That's a really good question.
This was another one Emmy and I were working on today with the Manhattan office. There was a question because the supervisor was like, fill out a CA2. No. There was a CA1 claim that was previously approved. And the person got better, full duty, back to work, and then strained their back again in like training or something, okay? And so the question was like, is this a 2A, meaning a recurrence, or is this a new injury? And you always got to ask that question. So you go to the doctor and you say, hey, doc, I had this other back injury. I was all better, and now I'm not better anymore. Is this the same injury, or is it a new injury? So if it's a new injury, you fill out either a CA1 or a CA2, depending on how it happened, right? Maybe you were back at work and you bent forward and felt a strain. That's a CA1. Or maybe you were back to work and after like 3 or 4 days or 3 or 4 weeks, it started developing over time again. You started developing pain again. That's a CA2. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the exact same injury and you just aggravated it. That'd be a CA2A. So the way it works is you go to your doctor first and you find out, how did this happen? And as a result, you just do what you do.
Yeah.
You just do whatever's true. But a CA2A is called a notice of recurrence. And it's when you had a claim that was previously approved, you were all better, back at work and everything, and then it came back. And that's a CA2A.
All right. Going from our chats here, these questions. Rhea Johnson says, my postmaster told me today it's been a year and I'm coming for your job.
Really?
Whoa.
Can we get that in writing?
Can they actually take my position if I'm not released to full duty?
Well, okay. It depends on your craft. Okay. Sometimes it is a year, but you got to go to your union and get help. Don't be one of those people that just says, my union won't help me, I'm not going to go to them. You got to get help. You got to get help. Okay. And if your postmaster said, I'm coming for your job, man, I would do anything to get that recorded. Okay. It may not be admissible in court, but geez, that's just hateful. Okay. So at least document it.
Andrea Cernick says,
freaking supervisors. Sorry.
Andrea Cernick says, question about restoration of leave with TSA. Will PM later or tomorrow? Not a problem.
Oh, yeah. Send us a message.
Miss Moore said, hi, guys. You wouldn't believe what happened to me recently. My job had told me I should have reported back to work 8 months ago by a DOL doctor when my doctor wrote me out 4 months. Ouch.
Wait, the doctor wrote you out 4 months, but they said you should have been out back 8 months ago?
Correct.
That math doesn't make sense to me either. It's like in Anchorman. 60% of the time it works every time. Ron Burgundy goes, that doesn't make sense. So anyways,
we're going to end this now. Oh my gosh. Andrea Cernick said, new union rep in CLT. Is that Charlotte?
Yeah.
Willing to help with OWCP. Looking forward to working with you guys to help my coworkers.
Fantastic.
Yes.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. Miss Hayes said, my union did nothing. They wanted the doctor to write a letter saying I'd be back in 6 months. They weren't comfortable. So I lost my route. I was dealing with the union president who is no longer the president, and no one told me. I read it in the quarterly bulletin.
Yeah, and why can't your doctor say that you can be back in 6 months? Unless the answer is you're going to be back in 9 months, and then just say that. But I think most doctors can make a reasonable judgment as to how long they think you're going to be out. The doctor needs to understand they're not going to be held. So doctors that are on listening, okay, you're not going to be held to that. If you think someone can come back to work in 6 months, but then in 6 months, for whatever reason, you find out, well, I was wrong. Well, guess what? It's not an exact science. You're a good doctor, but you're not a fortune teller. You can't see the future. You do your best. Surgeons, they do surgery and they say, "Hey, it's my opinion you're going to be up walking on Monday." Well, maybe not. Right? You don't know. You can't see the future. So don't be scared to make, guesses as to when you think someone might be able to go back to work. That will help your patients protect their job. So I would expect my doctors will not be timid cowards like your doctor may have been.
Lisa said, I just returned to work with light duty assignment, but at halftime, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. Do I still file CA7s until I return to full time?
Yeah, you need to file CA7s for the time you're not working. Like, let's say your standard shift is 8 hours and you're only working 4 hours now. That means you're losing 4 hours. So you need to fill out a CA7 and probably a CA7A time analysis form to account for that other 4 hours so you get those back.
Royce said, two-part question.
Hit me.
I have already a schedule award that was quite low on my bilateral Achilles. I did have the right Achilles rebuilt in 2008.
Jeez.
Had a cardiac arrest during surgery. My
Come
left
on.
Achilles is needing repaired, but I will not have it due to my cardiac issue. I also have bilateral knee OA, which at this point the left knee replaced and the right will need replaced also. I did not know that at the time I could file for my knees. Can I add the knees to my claim even though I retired in 2020? I had a meniscus surgery in 2005 and it got worse and now needs to be replaced. By the way, I was a mail carrier for 32 years.
What year did you say retired?
2020.
And what year did you know?
Hold this real quick.
What year did you know that you had a work-related knee condition? And what year did you report that you had a work-related knee condition? Okay, because that would be the key. Like if you just reported or told somebody, and there's some record that you told your doctor, even okay, which I'm guessing that's where your record's going to be, that prior to retirement you were also having knee problems, then I would say we can go and get those records. I'm saying we because we're here for you. We can get those records and use those records to indicate that you already had the knee problem, and then you can do what's called a diagnosis expansion. You ask, can you do it? And the answer to can is yes. I'm not promising you'll be successful, but I'm promising if you don't try, you won't be. So that's my answer. I love cans and can'ts because my answer is we can. Well, what's the consequence of it? Well, you might not win. Well, you're already in that situation, so you might as well try.
Melissa Colbert says, I'm a roll carrier. I fell last December and injured my knee and shoulder. I have a torn ACL and torn meniscus in my knee and have been on light duty since January. I was told today that my supervisor wants me to start parking outside of the fence and to park beside the post office, not to park where all the carriers, clerk, trainees, and our custodian parks. I'm going tomorrow to get a temporary handicap permit so I can stay inside the fence and not have to walk about 75 feet to the back door. Can they refuse to let me park in the handicap spot?
Okay. They can refuse to let you park in the handicap spot, but a handicap spot is a federal thing at a federal agency. The agency, the building, the supervisors are not in charge of handicap spots. That's called the Americans with Disabilities Act. And I would venture to guess that your supervisors weren't in on the writing of that law and they're just being assholes. So what you need to do is file a grievance, call EEO, file a complaint, get your handicap sticker and let them tow you. Okay. Let them tow you and be sure you video it as it's happening. Broadcast that on every social media platform you can find and bring lots of attention to the asshole that had you towed. Sorry about the language, but gosh, I think that makes me the most angry of anything I've heard in months.
I know.
So they're just being punitive. They're treating you really bad. I think you have an EEO complaint because I think you're not being treated fairly because you have a legitimate injury. And yes, folks, that's what it looks like when Chris Helms get pissed about supervisors. Such assholes. Go ahead.
Do we need to take a short pray?
No, this is when I'm at my best. Let's go.
Jane Johnson said, "What can I do if my 12-month is up and you find out your case has been closed for a while but was unaware because you thought your supervisor was sending your stuff to Department of Labor but wasn't, and thought she sent it all in the correct forms but didn't, but was still seeing the work comp doctor? Now you have these bills. Oh my
Okay,
heck."
so I don't know what the supervisor was supposed to be sending in, short of like CA7s as you report them. They're required to send CA7s in within 5 days. CA7s, I believe now, no, I'm sure, are all filled out on eComp, and so they get the same email as if it's a new CA1 or 2. And so they have to get that and complete it and have it submitted by day 5. You file a grievance on that. If not, because you're not getting paid, you file an EEO complaint on that because you're not getting paid. And anytime you're not getting paid because you're a supervisor for a legitimate work injury, I would guess that you're not being treated fairly, that it may not be equal. Don't put up with it and file grievances. File grievances.
Yes.
And if your unions won't file a grievance for you, figure it out and do it yourself. Do whatever it takes. Don't put up with it.
Heather, you want to know if we're going to be at the Union Convention in North Carolina in June? Well, at this current moment, we have not been invited to anything in North Carolina in
Although we'd love
June.
to. We would love to. And so if you'd like us to be there, you got to let your union president know. And they need to have us invited.
Invite us.
We'd love to come with your invitation. We would love it. But I don't crash the party I wasn't invited to officially. So get us invited officially, and we'd be happy to come. I do a 2 or 3 hour class. 3 is better because it's more thorough, and it's always good. Yeah, fair. What's that? I know.
Chad, calling tomorrow to make an appointment with FIC in Louisiana. Awesome.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to skip ahead. Cheryl said, my supervisor called to ask me my hourly wage.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. Dumb or playing dumb?
Chad, you're going to like Dr. Mick Morris. He's cool.
Very, very cool.
Royce said, I just found out it could be work related. My doctor said OWCP wouldn't accept, so he didn't write it.
We call those in the federal injury world cowards, and you find another one who's not one of them.
Yeah, look at our website, see if there's anything that you can go that's close to you. Mary said, spoke with DOL and said if your case is approved and you're getting paid monthly, you are not supposed to send in CA7s every month because it's already in the system. Is this true?
That's called the periodic rolls. I mentioned those earlier. If you're on the periodic rolls, you don't have to submit CA7s all the time, but you make sure you're on the periodic rolls because next thing you know, you just won't get paid.
She said, when she told me that, I never filed any more CA7s and now I'm getting paid monthly still.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a standard thing. The periodic rolls. I read it here. Yeah, temporary rolls. You're good.
Come back to North Carolina, Dynamic Health. I will see as a new union rep from my president. Oh,
all right.
Okay, so that's all. I don't know why I say okay all the time.
Well, there was a question from Ron, and I think it was a relatively long question, and there were so many. I'd like
we should have Chris.
No, that's not it. There was one way before that.
That's in the other side. Okay,
if you can find it, because
I
glanced at it and I thought it was a great question. I want to make sure I hit it.
It's in my page.
Yeah, so she's got like different pages she's going back and forth from. That's why she didn't see it, Ron. So give us a second. I'm looking at the screen. She's looking down here at an iPad.
All right, said Chris, I have a question for you. Maybe a question for Eric.
Yeah,
but thought I'd ask you too. If someone is retired through OPM, Federal Disability Retirement, and is receiving an annuity, and that annuitant wants to move outside of the U.S. or to another country, can that retiree still receive their annuity?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. 100%. That's a great question. But the answer is yes, they can still receive it. Just make sure they have your address.
Ms. Harvey said, can COP be paid when there is another injury that is consequential injury months after going back to work while on modified job duty?
COP is only paid when you report your CA1 injury within 30 days. That's the only time. I'm sorry, just don't ask the next question real quick. So my son, everyone say hello to Aaron Diego Helms. That's my son from Denton, Texas, who's crashing our party and says hashtag invite OWCP to NC.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Hello, Aaron. That's my boy. Yeah. If you want us in North Carolina, invite us. Aaron, you just got hired. You're the new AV guy for Federal
Yeah, I
Interest
know,
Centers.
right?
He's in college for this, so I'm expecting him to learn something eventually that he can use for me. And Ron says, "What's up, Aaron?" What?
You didn't finish answering the question.
Oh, sorry, Aaron threw me off. What was the rest of the question?
Can COP be paid when another job injury that is consequential injury months after going back to work while on the job?
No, I did answer it. The only time COP can be paid, the only time is when a CA1 claim is initially reported within 30 days. A consequential injury is an injury that happened as a result of an injury that was already approved, and I've never seen COP paid on it. I've never, but if somebody says, "Can you try to get it?" Yeah, you can try. I've just never seen it.
Tanya said, my claims examiner told me to find a new doctor when I asked him for permission for mileage. Ouch.
Yeah.
Tanya said, they told me I couldn't park in the handicapped either, even though I had a permanent handicap plate.
Okay, I'm going to make a note of this one, and I am going to learn something about handicap spots and tell you about it, because this is coming up now twice, and I'm really, really pissed off about it. So I'm going to learn something important about handicap spots and get back to you.
Ron says we should have Chris teach in the OWCP to UPMA, United Postmasters and Managers of America, and the NAFI and NAPS of Postal Supervisors.
Buddy, you know I would do it. I've told you I'll do it, but they won't like it very much.
So, yeah. Okay. So that's all the questions.
No, there's more. I'm just saying I see him coming in here.
Oh, hold on. Let me go back.
So remember, be patient with us. This one over here, all I got to do is just like answer stuff. She's got to go to like 8 different places and find your questions. We got to find a way to put them all in one place where she can see them. I see that, but she's looking at this.
Heather, the only way we can get invited is if somebody in the union, the official union, president, vice president, treasurer, or secretary, sends me an email, Gini at federalinjurycenters.com, and says they want to invite us and give us the dates. And then they normally ask, what do you guys want? Meaning requirements, the room size, do you guys want a table, etc. That's the only thing. There's nothing that we could do for you guys to recruit us to get there.
Because I would say yes in a heartbeat if my schedule's not already booked. But let's go ahead and do this since we're talking about it. In order for me to want to say yes, a few things have to. There are conditions, okay? And I didn't used to make conditions, but my time is in really high demand now. Our time, but I'm the one teaching. But we're wanted a lot now, more than ever. And so here's how I say yes. You don't just send a percentage of your group to my class, send the entire group to my class. In fact, keep all your group where they are and I'll come to you. Give me 3 hours and give me a projector, a screen so everyone can see my stuff. And don't make it the very last thing where everyone's tired and wants to get the heck out of there. So let's, put it at a time where everyone's still fired up in a room where everyone can sit in, and give me 3 hours with a projector, and I'll blow the doors off the room. And I'll drop the mic when I'm done. If it breaks, I'll replace it.
All right, let's see. Teresa Sanchez says,
I should start dropping the mic, though. That'd be fun. Teresa says what? It's a long one. I heard you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Is there anything that can be done about commute to work for injured employees that can't commute that far consistently? I know USPS is not responsible for getting workers to and from work, but the LDJO plus the commute would kill my hands. I'm worried of signing. It'll keep happening issues at work, but I'm scared to refuse it. I was told I had to sign. I still haven't, as I'm waiting to speak to the claims examiner. I was also told I needed to run my appointments by management before I can make them. I have been doing 3 times a week and I need to book in advance to get the slot. I'm worried I'll have to decrease my PT if I go back to work.
So you do need to give your management notification that you're going to be off of work. What we do in our offices is give you a printout of all of your appointments. We ask you to schedule every appointment up front so that we can give you a complete printout of that. And then you can take that to management. There's your notification. As far as getting to work, the deal is they are your CA-17 says what you can do once you get there. It doesn't say how you get to work. So remember this: you can use Uber or Lyft. There are agencies that are like healthcare transportation agencies, but you could use Uber or Lyft. And what I'd recommend is call the claims examiner, tell them the situation, and ask them if they'll reimburse you. And if they say yes to that, you just keep your 957 forms available. Every 3 trips will go on one form, and you just attach receipts. When you're using Uber or Lyft, it keeps a record of all the money you paid, and you just print those out and attach them to your 957 forms for reimbursement on travel. That's the first thing that comes to mind. There may be other things, but I think that's the best way to go. That I want to go to work. I can't drive to work. I'm not even able to drive when I get to work, but I want to make it to work. Will OWCP reimburse me for Uber or Lyft? If not, maybe you can get a friend that can drive you to work. Maybe you can go in with a coworker. Think of all the options that, now that I've said that, there's like lots of other options you might think of, but that's what I'd recommend right off the bat.
And Teresa also said, also, do you know if there's anyone to enforce the EEO process? My mediator was a postal supervisor for 20 years and she never called or emailed me. I had to reach out to her and she forgot to schedule my mediation. And now time is running out and she told me it will just go formal if I choose to, but it's up to me to prove everything. So she gets away with being incompetent and helping the USPS just sweep these under the rug because she's basically telling me she won't set up mediation because it runs out Tuesday and the next step is to go formal. But that's hard to prove. So good luck. It's crazy.
You need to contact EEO and ask them if they can give you somebody else to help you. Just explain that situation to them. I don't have a good answer. I don't have a good answer for you because there's not a good answer. So call them and see if they can just assign someone else.
That's so crazy.
I think you're going to find someone that will hear you and go, all right, that's wrong. And they should probably help you because that's just wrong. Like common sense says that's wrong.
I can't believe that. Okay. Oh, what is that? Okay. Hold on.
Got him.
Okay. All right, got 2 more and then we're going to be done for tonight. I didn't even realize what time it was. And I'm like, holy moly.
If you're new here, we do this sometimes. It's an hour-long show, but if there's a lot of questions, we just hang in there for as long as necessary just to keep answering the questions.
All right, I got a question from Tracy and Paul. Now we're going to call it a night.
All right, hit it.
I've been on limited duty for 2 years. Now I've been told to stay home. Can't just make up a job. I've had a 2499 T since 2001. I filed a CA2 for extreme anxiety.
What's the question?
That's it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what question's being asked. So if there's a question there, hit us with it and I'll be glad to ask it or answer it.
Paul said, approved case, but another body part hasn't been yet authorized. Can I go back to work on modified duty while working on getting body part added?
Yeah. Yeah. If you've got an approved claim, your supervisors are required to make every effort possible to give you a limited duty assignment that matches the CA-17 your doctor gives you. And 2 weeks ago, I did a real thorough class on this right here. So you can go take a look at that on limited duty assignments.
Yeah. Oh, somebody said, please answer me why OWCP is taking away my health insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, because I've been out almost a year now.
So OWCP is not taking away your health insurance. You're not getting paychecks, and that means there's no paycheck to deduct your health insurance premiums from. So you need to set up a way for you to be able to make those premiums so you can keep your health insurance. The union folks that we're friends with say that's something they help with.
Oh, Tracy said her supervisor told me they just can't make up a job offer after I've been doing modified duty for 2 years.
Well, you just let them know that that's not what the rules state. Say, hey, buddy, read the rules. Go back to my my talk 2 weeks ago, and I gave you the specific rules in there. So take a look at that and show that to them.
No, you're okay, Tracy. You're fine.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Are my angels. Aw. No, you guys really make us always want to be here. We have so much fun doing this.
Yeah, so hour and a half, hour and 33 minutes. We had a little bit of a hiccup in the beginning. Technology, what are you going to do? We'll get better as things go along. I spend my week just I spend my day. I have 3 laptops in here trying to figure things out, and cameras and cell phones and lights and TV and microphones. And I'm not an AV guy, so I'm just kind of working through it. But we're gonna get better at this. But I like this setup. I feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
I can sit in this chair all day. In fact, I did today. And it's nice answering your questions. This week, if you want me to answer something different, send us. Why don't you go ahead and post another thing?
Yeah, I'll do another one.
I liked it. So she's gonna post another thing to asking you what topics you want information on, and we'll try to play Stump the Chump again next week, maybe, because I think this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, Stump the Chump, and then after that, so that'll be the 20th, and then Mr. Flowers comes on the 27th.
Did you say Flowers?
I was about to say Flowers.
It's Blowers with a B.
Yeah, he's gonna kill me if he heard that. Okay, guys.
Eric Blowers.
Oh yeah, they say that too. They say he hates that one. Yeah, Mr. Blowers. All right, guys. We will see you guys back next week. We are on our way to Oklahoma tomorrow to get some more coaching and some fun stuff.
And I'm gonna be hanging out with like 9 other doctors that are like high-powered doctors, like the ones we have now.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe we'll find somebody who wants to join Federal Interest Centers. That'd be great. I'm trying to network on my own. Joe does this stuff all the time, and so I'm having an opportunity to sort of jump in there and help him out in a different place. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go do some hunting while I'm at it with my new doctor friends. So that'll be fun. But we'll still be back here next Wednesday, right?
Yeah, and if you guys want to remember, I think it was last night actually, I posted it. It's our entire where we're going to be for meet and greets. We decided that if we're going to go to a convention that APWU is going to have, we can still meet with other people from other agencies.
And we love doing that, but normally nobody shows up.
Hi.
So show up.
Yeah, you guys can come by. So if we're going to be in Sacramento and we're going to be in a hotel, we will be, like at the bar or wherever it is. And if there's any other agencies that want to come after, it's always like between 6 and 8. We'll have some books, we'll have some free stuff, and
we'll have us.
And you
and we get to meet you. We love meeting you.
Ask your questions. Like again, so we're going to be doing that, but all the conventions that we're doing is listed where we're going to be. So if you see that we're going to be somewhere, just remind me. I will put out the location, and if it is a place that we can do this.
And you know what? We've become really good friends with a lot of you.
Yes.
Because we've been able to get out and meet you. And so it's really been I think the most fulfilling part about this is that we've been able to meet and have so many of you as friends.
Many of you guys, yeah.
And so I really appreciate getting to meet you. I'd like to have more friends. I can never have enough. So wherever we're at,
he has me.
That's definitely enough. But wherever we're at, we'd like to meet you. So I hope that more people will start coming. We were in Salt Lake City, and we did a dinner that I think 20 people said would be there, and 3 showed up. We did a open house where 40 people said they were going to be there, and 3 showed up.
Yeah.
And so we like for people to just show up. And I'm actually, you wouldn't know this, I'm very uncomfortable in groups of people that I don't know, and so I get introverted. And one of the things I'm working on this year, not like a New Year's resolution or anything, but I'm working on talking to you. So if you show up, I am going to say the darndest things to you and just keep talking and keep talking. When I run out of stuff, I'm going to start, quizzing you. We're going to do trivia, but I'm going to get better at talking to you. So show up and help me defeat this problem that I've got, where I only talk if I'm the one talking and nobody talks back.
Anyway, guys. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for the safe travel wishes for tomorrow. We're going to be in Oklahoma, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Here. Good night. See you later.
Very good night.
Bye.